Welcome. Our topic today is about voice of customer strategy and specifically machine learning and new ways that machine learning can really impact those strategies. I am curious for folks in the room here, are any of you responsible for voice of customer feedback? Yes. Do any of you aspire to learn about voice of customer programs and implementations? Okay. People just thought machine learning sounded cool. That's okay too. Well, I'm hoping we can provide a little bit of insight here for you. We are Wootric. I am Jessica Pfeifer. I'm the CCO and the co-founder. It's a nice position to be in because I get to wear two hats in this. Obviously, I'm passionate about customers and having a strong voice of customer perspective, but I'm also everyday marketing and talking to customers about their own voice of customer programs. So I get to wear two hats. And Wootric itself, we are a modern customer feedback platform. So what does that mean? It means, from a collection perspective, we're really focused on lightweight, intelligent microsurveys for the actual gathering of feedback. And then on the collection, post-collection, the analysis and the action side, we're using the latest technologies, hence the machine learning and AI connection to deliver value to customer feedback programs for the companies that we work with. So had any of you heard of us before today, or is this also new for? Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I think we recognize that everyone is probably in pursuit of better understanding of their customers. And really, the fundamental here is who understands the customer best wins. I think the challenge for us as we think about this is how is our customer changing? And what we've noticed is that our customer is really moving in different directions when they think about how they want to engage with us and give us feedback. So if I think of myself as a customer, I eat at restaurants. I don't necessarily engage at that moment, but I might, if I feel inclined, go and write a review somewhere. But it's very much on my terms, my channel, and when I feel like doing it. But I know a lot of companies send me these. I don't know if any of you have completed surveys like this recently, but I don't. It's not inspiring or intriguing to me to give feedback in this manner. But I think the challenge is that if we look at our own VoC programs, I bet a lot of you have surveys like this somewhere in the arsenal. Lots of questions, a little more complicated, and it's becoming antiquated because we're not getting response rates that we want. We're not hearing from enough customers, and so that's a real challenge for businesses that are trying to be more in tune with the way that their customers want to give feedback. I'd say additionally, we probably all struggle with this as well, that the voice of the customer sits in a lot of different places. If you're on the customer success side of the house, you've got your NPS surveys, you've got some touch points between the account teams, and that feedback is captured in a system here. And then your social team has some Twitter things going on, and your Zendesk or your support side of the house collects feedback on tickets. And so it's really spread out, and every team understands their customer, but together you don't have that holistic view. And so we really feel like there's an opportunity here. What if we could align VoC strategy with the way that our customers actually want to give us feedback? And so when we think about that, we really think about, the topic that we're here to discuss and machine learning unlocking a lot of new potential for companies to really get into that feedback, that voice of customer. And I'm really speaking about qualitative data here. So if you think about all the sources in your business where you have open-ended text feedback, this is hard stuff to get into and mine efficiently. And machine learning really can help you unlock the potential to analyze that and bring it into the folds of your customer story and build that 360 view of the customer. So I'm going to take you through 3 specific ways that we think machine learning is going to help transform your voice of customer strategy. The first one is about hearing from more customers. So I showed you those antiquated survey styles with lots of questions. Why do companies still do that? And I really think the reason why is it's actually easy for the company because we can lay out exactly the questions we want to ask. We can have rating scales. It puts structure around something that has felt hard to do, right? But customers don't necessarily feel inclined to give feedback that way anymore. And so the power of machine learning is to release the constraints of that and think about, the open-ended text box as not a scary place. And the fact that a simplified model will increase response rates and actually give you still the information you need to make smart decisions. So I wanted to just give you a quick example. So the Wootric product, one of the things that we do is the microsurvey. And so this is an example of a Wootric NPS survey. This is cut out of an in-app module, so this would show up in your product. But you get a sense of how this is a very different experience for a customer. The simple NPS question, how likely are you to recommend this product? Ideally your product name in there, obviously your product, and then the open-ended text box. And let's see if I can read what it says. I feel it works well, but it's a little expensive for our usage level. Other than that, the dashboard's intuitive, easy to get started, and very handy for troubleshooting performance issues. So the nice thing about this is we didn't have to tell the customer what was important to them by our measures and by our questions. They told us exactly what was top of mind. And then the power of machine learning in all of this is the ability to actually parse it. And so this is that comment with the applied themes pulled out, with the applied sentiment pulled out. And you can see there was the comment about price. The machines identified user experience, user interface issues, identified setup issues. And so automatically now you have that context. And you can think about how at scale, there's now a way to do that efficiently without a lot of manual work, and that unlocks a lot of power. The second transformation is about real-time deep analysis. So you just saw how easy it is to have a machine actually classify this feedback. But then if we think about the value of layering on speed in doing this, what kind of new avenues can that deliver for the business? And so, this is one where you can think about catching problem areas coming in from verbatims very quickly, actioning on those in a timely manner, which could influence business decisions. So this is an example of our product that centralizes the feedback, leveraging the machine learning. But we work with a company in food delivery. And so one of their challenges was they get real-time feedback all over the country from all these different markets, all these different end users. They ask a very simple question. They ask a satisfaction question, and they have the open-ended rating. But there's actually a real opportunity for them to be operationally more excellent if they can parse this information quickly in the open-ended feedback. So if someone has an issue about an out of stock or is complaining about delivery, and you start to see those things bubble up in a particular market or a particular city, now they actually have the power to go in and really quickly get to the heart of that and notify the right teams. So you can see the unlocking of potential to route and actually correct operational challenges as they unfold in real time. The last transformation I wanted to talk about is really about perspective. And I think sometimes we believe that we are seeing the full picture, but I haven't really been using this much. But when you actually open up the view, you see you might have been missing some pieces. And the holistic view that machine learning opens up is really an opportunity for us. I think some people might think about all of this qualitative information as a bit scary. I know even when I think about running more surveys or collecting more information in other channels like support and digging into tickets, that starts to feel like a big workload, and I don't have the resources to do it. And so then these projects get pushed off, and those areas of the business don't get addressed. I mean, I think about one of my customers who said to me, we've been collecting all this wonderful NPS verbatim on our products for years, and yet our product team will do some focus groups and make $10 million decisions off those focus groups. And yet right here was this great information, but to mine it and to actually put the effort into sorting through all those verbatims was just too big of a hurdle. And now it's not. And now she sees it and she goes, oh my gosh, like there was richness here all along that might have changed some of the outcomes versus those decisions made with a focus group or a very smaller group of customers. So unlocking that view can unlock a lot of power. So it shouldn't be scary. And one of the interesting things about when you think about the holistic view is combining all of this into one 360 view. So you can think about machine learning helping you harness tweets, bring in support tickets, bring in those SurveyMonkey surveys that you did, for some particular product exercise. All of those different parts of the business, all those different previously siloed areas can now come into one common view. And I think whether you're in customer success, whether you are in customer experience and look at that view, there's a richness here that can really impact the business. And I would hope that, I think the visionary thinkers of you here would recognize what kind of power this could unlock, especially if it's easy. Because I think the biggest barrier we face in trying to convince our organizations to do this is it feels like a gargantuan task. I wanted to just share a specific example of how the holistic view can be really powerful. And this example comes more from the customer success perspective. So, I often hear a lot about QBRs, and I hear about enterprise customers and the importance of having a really great, productive conversation with your enterprise customers on that quarterly engagement. And usually what the CSM has in their toolkit is the decision maker's NPS score. Maybe there was a buyer or some other key player in the relationship. They've got a couple data points. And then, they have the recommendations about how to, they have engagement data, maybe they have behavioral data, talking about adoption. So they've got all these data points. But usually they don't have end user data. And oftentimes what I hear is, well, that's gonna be a big job. Like for me to go out and actually find out what end users think of the product, who aren't my decision makers, it's opening up a whole can of worms that I don't want to deal with. But machine learning here can make that really easy in the sense that you could go out and actually poll your end users, get some really concise feedback, roll up some themes, and we have customers that then can go in and say, hey, decision maker, here's what I know you think. Here's also what your employees think about using our product. Here are the things that they really are loving about the experience. Here are the areas they've identified as opportunities, and you're having a more strategic conversation. You're able to say, we've been working on X, Y, and Z based on their feedback. So it really elevates the discussion. And you could see where even beyond end user feedback, you might be able to bring in support conversations or Salesforce notes. You've got a lot of other places where suddenly this open-ended feedback can become a part of a really strategic conversation that's going to move those enterprise discussions to a new level. So, I hope you've learned a little bit about the fact that VoC is really everywhere around us. I hope you've seen that machine learning can really meet the challenges and bring you some new strategic tactics to impact your programs. And then I guess the last thing I just want to leave you with is this doesn't have to be our gargantuan undertaking to start. So you can engage in baby steps. You can start with, maybe you start with the thing that's closest to you. Maybe you start with your NPS polls, or maybe you have some customer satisfaction data that you would want to put through an engine and try. These are exactly the kind of conversations we like to have because we want you to just see the value of leveraging the technology in the first place. And if you're able to get the value out of it initially, then it becomes very easy to get other parts of the business involved, bring in other functions, and start to expand and build this amazing coalition of feedback that will become really foundational to your customer experience strategies moving forward. So at the end of the day, all of this is just going to help you be better prepared to win the customer race and be ready for a really powerful customer experience strategy. So I'm going to stop there. All right. Well, thank you very much.